Tonight on News Prime, Vice President Shettima says Nigeria must address the electricity issue to drive development. In business, federal government launches wheat subsidy to enhance food security. On the foreign scene, Uganda leader backs military trials as rival in jail for Christmas. And in sports, Israel Adesanya sues singer superstar YB for $5 million over unauthorized voice use. Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Uyi Agmofwegbe. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nightcomsat. Tonight, we'll begin by telling you, Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, says he is alive. Yakubu said this in a statement signed on his behalf by Rotimi Oyekomi, his chief press secretary. It had been reported that an online platform and some social media handles had said the INEC chairman died at an undisclosed hospital in London after an illness. Let's take a break now on News Prime. When we return, we'll have so much more for you ahead on the news. Do stay with us. I thank you for staying with us, everyone. The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, says the party's target is to capture Rivers State in 2027. Ganduje stated this while inaugurating the newly elected executive committee of the party in the state. He said, though the South-South geopolitical zone is largely controlled by the People's Democratic Party, the APC is making inroads in the zone, with Cross River and Edo State already taken by the ruling party. The United Nations says African continent has demonstrated commitment to promoting gender equality and the empowerment of women, with all countries on the continent ratifying the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women. Ife Yukala, founder of Impact Her, a non-profit that is bridging the African female entrepreneurship financing gap, spoke exclusively to Global Television about these issues.
Driven by her passion to see African women thrive in business, especially in the area of financing, Yukala says a lot is changing regarding women-specific endeavors in Africa.
You know, what is changing is growing the market, helping African women grow the market, helping them access to markets that they didn't originally have access to, which is contributing to that scalability. You know, the grandmother who would make 10 dresses in 2 weeks, you know, now we have women that can make 100 pieces of shirts in a day. So it's really giving them that resources and putting the money in their hands to allow them to do so.
On the issue of girl-child education, she believes there is tremendous amount of work that needs to be done by government.
The government needs to keep investing in understanding the why, right? Like, why do we have this much women still out of school? Is this, and I use the word investing because I feel like it's going to be deep research, right? We can't just assume what the problem is. So the government has to invest in that quest to find the answers of the why. Why are women out of school? Is this a situation where the parents feel that they would be more useful at home to help them with chores? Is there a way to negotiate with communities to say, you know what, allow, your daughter to come out for school between these hours to these hours, and, don't worry, we would subsidize that, price for that land for you. I raised that model because I believe I saw that in Mozambique. I was in Mozambique a few years ago.
At the turn of the 21st century, however, statistics have shown that domestic violence is one of the biggest challenges women face on the continent. Uyi Agmofwegbe, reporting for Global Television News.
The Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics has suspended its 2-week warning strike. The union, which had embarked on a 2-week strike on December 2nd over what it described as neglect of the polytechnics education in Nigeria and other issues, directed its members nationwide to resume duties on Monday. In a statement dated December 12, the union's national president, Shama Banja, said the strike was suspended following a meeting with officials of the Ministry of Labor and Employment, where a memorandum of understanding was signed with a caveat that other meeting would be held on January 23, 2025 to end the industrial dispute finally. Banja also stated that the union's National Executive Council will meet to review the situation ahead of the meeting with the government in January. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development Festus Keyamo has appealed to regular and non-regular flyers to embrace the proposed Fly Nigeria Act from the federal government. He said this is to ensure that Nigerian flag carriers are given priority for all government-funded travel, whether domestic, regional, or international. Speaking at the unveiling ceremony of the legislative framework on the proposal, Keyamo revealed that the act aims to create demand and market opportunities for routes not currently operated by Nigerian carriers. He noted that by incentivizing the development of such routes, the proposed legislation seeks to establish a more robust and competitive aviation market for the country, as he describes the bold initiative as the right step in the right direction. The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, says it has discovered a residential premises used in storing illegally refined petroleum products in Rivers State. Rivers State Commandant of the Corps, Joachim Okafor, who led a team of personnel to the illegal storage site, explained that the discovery by the command's anti-viral unit was through the deployment of the Corps' latest illegal crude oil theft technology tracker. Okafor noted that aside its negative impact on the nation's economy, the activities of crude oil thieves are causing serious environmental hazards and health issues to the people. The illegal storage facility located at Elelewo community in Obiakpon local government area contains large storage tanks and cans filled with illegally refined petroleum products. The authorities in Finland have frozen the assets of Simon Ikpa, the self-acclaimed Biafran agitator facing allegations of terrorism-related activities. A local newspaper says the Finnish authority also froze the assets of companies associated with him and 4 of his accomplices who are in remand. Ikpa is reportedly being held in the prison, which is reported to be one of the world's toughest. Ahead of the Christmas and New Year celebrations, the Federal Capital Territory Police FCT Command has announced a prohibition on the use of firecrackers, popularly known as knockouts. This announcement was contained in a statement by the Territory Command's spokesperson, Josephine Ade. Ade said the Commissioner of Police in the nation's capital, Olatunji Disu, explained that the measure is aimed at ensuring the safety of lives and property during the festive period, as using of firecrackers often causes unnecessary panic, poses fire risks, and could lead to other avoidable incidents. Troops of Operation Fansan Yama have destroyed 22 camps of Lakurawa, killing several of them in Sokoto State. Acting General Commanding Officer, 8th Division and Commander Sectors 2 Operation Fansan Yama, Brigadier General Bikole Ajose, stated this while addressing the special brigades deployed to crush Lakurawa in Sokoto and Kebbi States by the Chief of Defense Staff. He said the troops also recovered weapons and ammunition during the operations. General Ajose noted that the operation led to the destruction of about 22 camps, neutralization of several members of the sects, recovery of 4 rifles and 409 PKT, 7.62 mm NATO and 94 by 7.62 mm special rounds ammunition. The Chinese People's Liberation Army Defense University has sought robust collaboration with the Nigerian Army toward promoting a better understanding of training and military education between the two armies. This is contained in a statement by Director, Army Public Relations, Major General Onyema Nwachukwu, in Abuja, after the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, received the People's Liberation Army delegation led by Rear Admiral Hu Gangfeng. Leader of the Chinese delegation, Rear Admiral Feng, expressed China's commitment to international cooperation and proffered support to the Nigerian Army in the area of training. In another development, the monarch of Okela in Ila local government area of Osun State, Oba Adedokun Abolarin, has identified quality education as a crucial means of eradicating poverty in Nigeria. The monarch called on government at all levels to increase their investment in education in order to enable every child have access to quality education. Abolarin made the call at the 14th convocation lecture of Achievers University Owo in Ondo State, where he stressed that quality education should be made available to everyone, including children from low-income families, migrants, indigenous communities, and those with disabilities. In order to alleviate the suffering of flood victims across the country, the federal government, through the Ministry of Regional Development, has handed over palliatives to Imo State government to support victims of floods and other vulnerable groups. The presentation in Owerri, the state capital, was led by Minister of Regional Development, Abubakar Momo, with the Governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, receiving the items. Our correspondent, Amarachi Ibe, has the rest of the story.
Presenting the palliative to Governor Uzodinma, the Minister of Regional Development explained that the intervention is targeted at alleviating the plight of flood victims and the less privileged in the state.
I welcome you to this symbolic presentation of palliative items to the people of Imo State. I made a presentation to the President, and he graciously approved that palliative items ranging from rice, beans, mosquito nets, and what have you. The idea here today is to symbolically present this item to the people who are, of course, were affected and those who are also in need.
Governor Uzodinma, in his response, commended the federal government for the timely support and pledged that the palliative would be distributed to the intended beneficiaries.
So we received this with warm hearts, while thanking you for being able to do this, and also charging the committee, because the idea is that this thing has a target. The work of the committee is to ensure that this gets to the people who are affected by the flood. And if it is done and done well, the donors will be happy. Those who receive these materials will also be happy.
The high point of the event was the symbolic presentation of relief items to some beneficiaries. The federal government's gesture highlights its commitment to supporting states in crisis and ensuring aid reaches the most vulnerable. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
Thank you so very much, Amarachi Ibe, for your reporting. You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime on Global Television, coming to you from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. When News Prime returns, federal government launches with a subsidy to enhance food security. Details of these as well as foreign export stories coming right after this short break. Please do stay with us. Thank you everyone for staying with us here. You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime on Global Television with Uyi Agmofwebe. Time to turn to business for you. Vice President Kashif Shettima says there is no way Nigeria can dream of meaningful economic development without addressing the power sector crisis and ensuring the country has access to electricity and other affordable energy. The Vice President made the statement when he inaugurated the National Economic Council Ad Hoc Committee on National Electrification and the Council's Ad Hoc Committee on Polio Eradication at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. Shettima urged leaders in the country to rise above differences to confront the power sector crisis and become part of the reincarnation of Nigeria as an industrialized nation. Minister of Works Dave Umahi says the decision to revoke the Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria-Kano road from Julius Berger will save the federal government over 640 billion naira. The minister stated this when he appeared before the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee. Umahi said the contract would be rewarded for a concrete road which he said would save the federal government more than 600 billion naira from the 1.5 trillion demanded by Julius Berger as a result of variation. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, has disclosed that the federal government has initiated measures to subsidize local wheat production to enhance food security and reduce reliance on imported wheat. Speaking in Abuja, Minister stated that the effort is part of a broader strategy to promote agricultural productivity and bolster economic growth through the National Agricultural Growth Scheme and Agro Pocket. He noted that the scheme spans 16 wheat-producing states and is designed to empower farmers with financial support and resources for improved wheat cultivation. The National Project Coordinator, Ishaku Buba, while briefing the minister, noted that the financial incentives provided under the program, which according to him include a 25% subsidy on certified wheat seeds and a 50% subsidy on fertilizers, aimed at reducing production costs for farmers. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has been urged to extend the hours of selling the compressed natural gas (CNG) into rubber state. Stakeholders consisting of drivers and park operators made the appeal as the state-owned oil and gas firm took its ongoing stakeholders sensitization program to the state. The exercise is part of the company's efforts to increase awareness and core understanding of the oil and gas industry's role in national development, whilst calling stakeholders on efficient use of petroleum products. And now let's turn to the foreign scene, where Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni has defended the use of military courts to try civilians following an outcry over the arrest and trial of opposition leader Kizza Besigye. His 68-year-old rival has been charged in a military court with possession of pistols and attempting to purchase weapons abroad, accusations he has denied. Besigye, who was abducted while visiting Kenya last month and forcibly taken to Uganda, found out that he would be spending Christmas in custody as his trial has been delayed until January. Museveni said any crime involving a gun is dealt with in a military court to ensure the country's stability, as civilian courts, according to him, take too long to deal with such cases. Let's move beyond Africa now. At least 3 people have been killed and dozens more wounded after an explosive was thrown into a crowd at a festival in Thailand. The attack took place shortly before midnight local time at the Red Cross Doi Lofia Fair, held annually in the Upang district in the northern Tak province. Thai police say 2 suspects are being held in custody, but no charges have been pressed. Police also stated that no less than 48 people have been wounded, 6 of whom are critically injured. Turkey says it is set to reopen its embassy in Damascus nearly a week after President Bashar al-Assad was toppled by forces backed by Ankara, and 12 years after the diplomatic outpost was shuttered early in Syria's civil war. The move came as Middle Eastern and Western diplomats gathered in Jordan for high-level talks on Syria and the day after nationwide celebrations at Assad's ouster. Ankara has been a major player in Syria's conflict, holding considerable sway in the northwest and financing armed groups there, as well as maintaining a working relationship with the Islamist Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, which spearheaded the offensive that brought down Assad. And now time to look at sports. Nigerian-born UFC champion Israel Adesanya has allegedly filed a $5 million lawsuit against Afrobeat singer superstar YB over the unauthorized use of his voice in the track Jealous, also referred to as Faji, which features fellow Nigerian artist Terry Apala. The controversy centers on the song's introduction, which reportedly includes a clip of Adesanya celebrating a UFC title victory and declaring himself a two-division UFC champion. Reports say superstar YB included these audio snippets in the track without seeking or obtaining Adesanya's permission. Ikorodu City have expressed determination to bounce back to winning ways as they prepare to host the Nigeria Premier Football League table toppers Remo Stars in the much-anticipated Southwest Derby on Sunday. The Lagos-based side, who are presently on the 4th position, lost to Bayelsa United 1-0 during their last league match at the Samson Siasia Stadium that came to extend their home win record. The club's gaffer, Nuruddin Aweroro, attributed their loss to Bayelsa United to lack of concentration, assuring that they would bounce back against their regional rivals. That sounds quite promising. As we end Global TV News Prime, now time to take a look at some of our big stories. Authorities in Finland have frozen the assets of Simon Ikpa, the self-acclaimed Biafran agitator facing allegations of terrorism-related activities. In business, Vice President the meaningful economic development without addressing the power sector, ensuring the country has access to electricity and other affordable energy. On a foreign scene, Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni has defended the use of military courts to try civilians following a trial of opposition leader Kizza Besigye. And finally, in sports tonight, we told you Nigerian-born UFC champion Israel Adesanya has allegedly filed a $5 million suit against Afrobeat singer superstar YB over the unauthorized use of his voice in the track Jealous. And that's all we have for you tonight on News Prime, and it came to you from the nation's capital, Abuja. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times 276, and free to air on Nightcomsat. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using Global TV NG, as well as others now showing on your screen, so you can increase your engagement with us across social media. I am Uyi Agmofode on behalf of the entire production team here tonight, here in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, saying thank you to you for watching. We will see you again